I think what's wonderful about the productions is that they're so varied. So next year we've got Mayerling, which of course is a wonderful Macmillan production.
Dramatic.
Very dramatic, and then it goes into Ballet, which is a classic, and I think the Royal Ballet is very excited about performing because we haven't performed for a long time. And then it might go into a more modern triple bill, then we have Don Q. I mean, it's such a mixture, isn't it?
Yes, and of course the Nutcracker for Christmas, which is a very festive, very beautiful production for the Royal Ballet. Definitely will be involved in the Nutcracker because it's one of my favourite ballets, and also I really enjoyed performing Hans Peter, the Nutcracker role, and I think he's one of my iconic roles. So it's very interesting, very nice for me to work with new people doing that role and to try and guide them and help them through perhaps something they've never done before, and explain not just the steps but sort of the intention of the role. So I think that for me is always a very nice ballet to go back to, helping the dancers and actually also watching it from out front, because when you're a dancer and you're involved in every production and doing all the ballets, you don't get that distance. And once you start working on a production and you can sit out front and take a step back, it's really interesting to see how much reads from the front, and the things you perhaps worry about are not so noticeable, and the things that you don't think are so visible, they are. So it's a very good lesson to have as well, to watch as well as dance.
So we went to Romeo and Juliet in Spain,
yes.
didn't we, when it premiered? And I think as a dancer, you are very excited about the cinema, but of course it's very different because for us, we're projecting right to the back of the amphitheatre of the Opera House, and with the cinema is much closer. So that's something that you probably have at the back of your mind. But at the same time, you're so excited that around the world they're seeing that live performance. And I think that's the key for me,
Yes.
that it's live. They're not getting something that has been edited. So whatever the audience are watching in London, that's exactly what you're going to watch. And I think that is really exciting.
I think what's interesting is that because the camera are so close up and almost on stage, you get the feeling what it's like to be on stage. So watching it as a dancer, you almost feel, oh, I am part of it, I am being on stage. I think the normal audience really appreciate that because they feel part of something as opposed to being separate from it. And I also like the fact that you see the intricacy of some of the costumes that perhaps from the distance you don't get to see. And we dancers, we see them up close, so we're so used to what they look like. And I think the normal audience are not so used to seeing the detail. So I think you get a lot of detail.
And another thing I think is also when we watched, some of the audience, maybe they don't know ballet so much and they just go to the cinema because it's more accessible. And it was the reactions, wasn't it, of the audience that maybe something would happen and they'd be like, or they'd be living it because they just weren't used to seeing it. And I think that was a definite highlight of watching in the cinema. Well, both Ricardo and myself absolutely love the Royal Ballet. I mean, our careers have extended, together for like 46 years if you joined his and mine. I think there is an elegance to the Royal Ballet. I think there is a dramatic energy and a way of acting that is trying to be as natural as possible. I think there is femininity to the women in the way that in Ashton, you bend your body. There's a speed and a footwork. I think it's an understated virtuoso feeling that I really fell in love with.
Yes, I think it's sort of like the British characteristic. So it's subtle, but it's very demure, but it's very beautiful. It's very classy.
And there's humour, and there's drama,
yes.
And there's wonderful music, and there's beautiful costumes, and the whole production comes together to create something unique. It's not just the dancers; it's everyone together. So. I love the Royal Ballet, so I hope that many people get to experience what we were drawn to the company when they come and watch in the cinema. Unfortunately, this time there's been no time, but we've been coming to Japan many times with the company and with dance tours for teaching when we have a little bit more time, don't we? So I love visiting Asakusa in Tokyo. I find it a very spiritual place, and since my father passed away, it's a place that I feel I really connect with him there. I don't know why, so I love that. traveled around Japan a lot, haven't we?
Yes.
I'll let you do the food one because you love Japanese food.
Yes, I really enjoy Japanese food. So every time I come here, I try as many different things. There are kind of a lot of restaurants, especially in the Ginza area, that I enjoy. So also I love going to the department stores and going to the food hall downstairs. And I always bring an empty suitcase, so I can take a lot of food back to London. Don't tell anyone that.
And Tokyo Hands is a classic, obviously. Everyone visits Tokyo Hands. And my favorite Japanese food is chawamushi. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And it's really hard to find in London, so full-on chawamushi for me while I'm here. Hi Japan, my name is Laura Morera and I'm a principal with the Royal Ballet.
Hi Japan, I'm Ricardo Cervera and I'm a ballet master with the Royal Ballet.
We look forward to seeing you all at the upcoming Royal Opera House cinema season at the cinemas.